Most of them. Thanks. Thanks for the like buttons. Thanks, everybody. All right. What's going on? Hey, can you do me a favor? Put your hand up. Shout out in live chat. If you would have sold your Bitcoin on this sell-off, if you'd have been like, all right, the party's over. Let me take profit. Let me get out here without CTM. Without Jordan's leadership. Without CTM. How many of you would have sold out? I would have. I would have chickened out here. I'm going to tell y'all guys that right now. Without CTM, without Jordan, I would have chickened out. But we've all learned. I've been watching Jordan's channel for about a year now. And man, have I learned a lot. And the thought to sell didn't cross my mind, but somebody put that in chat. You know, somebody put that in our Discord chat and said, you know what, who would have sold here? And I'm like, you know what, I would have. Actually, I probably would have sold. I would have either chickened out here, on this sell-off somewhere, or I probably would have sold after we broke out here. Like, oh man, it's going to come back down. I don't know when I would have sold. But my mindset's very different now, so we're all still in the trade, all healthy in the trade because of our community. CTM, the greatest community there is. Joshua says he wouldn't be in crypto in the first place. Yeah, a lot of us. I'd have been dabbling in crypto. It wouldn't have been nearly as heavy, that's for sure, right? I'd have been dabbling. Would have been dabbling. All right, let's talk about a few things here. Alt season. Give you guys an update on where I think we're at in alt season. Now, everything you hear here is not financial advice. I have my picture saved, but I forgot to pull it up. I'm sorry. I thought I had this ready, and I do not. Where is my other picture? No, once again, I don't have it ready. I got another Van by the River picture. Anyway, a better one. I will find it for next time for sure. But this is not financial advice. Anything you hear here is just education, entertainment. And if you end up taking my advice, you're going to lose all your money because I'm an idiot. And you'll end up living in a van down by the river with these two cute puppy dogs. All right. Very well. Yeah, so Bitcoin hit the 120 day. I couldn't be a happier camper. This to me makes me feel so good for us to have hit that. I was getting, like, I was so nervous this whole bull market so far. I was like, I cannot believe that we're not coming back to the 120. This is just, it was scaring me. It really was. I'm like, I don't know what is going on. Like, it's just, you know, I figured it was the printer burr, you know, asset inflation. But you look back here last cycle, right? We had those nice, healthy, I don't know about healthy, but, you know, these scary sell-offs right back into the 120, and boom, just explosion right out of them. Both times. So actually 3 times. These back here, this is fighting with the prior all-time high. So that was the prior all-time high cutting through there somewhere. So that's not, this is what we're at right now. This is the equivalent of where we're at right now. So we're likely going to have a nice big, so I kind of thought the market faked me out. So what I thought happened was I thought maybe the 50 day was going to be like our new 120 days. So I thought when the market broke out to a new all-time high for a third time, I thought, okay, we're going to get an impulse up, and I need to give up on my 120-day moving average. It's going to be the 50. Well, that faked me out, burnt me a little bit. I had some stop losses poorly placed and hurt me a little bit more than I would like to have. But ultimately, it cut into my trading profits. But you know, it cut my trading profits. At the end of the day, I'm still in the trade, and I still have trading profits. So that's all good. And it helped my psychology a lot. We came back, we touched the 120, and we are here now. This is what you see happening. So let's look at something. Last cycle, that touched the 120, that's the closest analog we have. The next daily candle, I measured this before. It was a big candle. Like 27%, right? So in the next 2 days, it was 27%. We got a bounce, not quite that magnitude, but, you know, pretty close. Let's see, I think we had like 16, 18% at one point. Let me see, take a look. Let's look at the dailies. Yeah, so that first bounce out of there, very similar, right? So you'll see like the red coming into it, and then there's just almost a completely solid green candle the very next day. And then it continues kind of pretty strongly from there. Yeah, so we got a 15, 16% bounce. A little bit less of a bounce. But still, I mean, just the same exact analog as we had last cycle. So there you go. We've hit my 120. I'm a happy camper. We're ready to rock and roll the rest of this. Hopefully I won't get faked out anymore. Hopefully what happens, the next impulse up that we get, we can really nail that one a little bit tighter. We can take some profit, trade profit, namely off the table here as we peak up to the next, whatever our next targets are. We need to start looking at that really closely. We just got out of here, so it's like I think a lot of us are still trying to rebuild our leverage positions. I know I am. I'm not fully rebuilt yet, but we hit that level. I didn't get as many fills. I had most of my orders. I actually was sitting on this 46.4. So between 47 and 46.6, I had a ton of orders that did not get filled right there, thinking that we would, blow through the 120 a little bit and actually hit 46.4. It's kind of 46.5 roughly, the top of the Tesla, daily, the daily close right there on the Tesla announced bull candle, bullish daily close. I thought that's where we'd come down to. We didn't. All right, let's take a look at comments here. We got, I think, hey, wireless, what a tune to start. Hello from London. Hey, Camille, hey everybody. Go 46. You bought that dip, very good. Yeah, I did have one order that got filled. So I had orders in on Kraken and KuCoin. KuCoin got filled, Kraken did not, basically. So I got an order fill down there. That was nice, but it was, pretty minuscule for what I was wanting, right? It was one of 10 orders I need to fully rebuild, so a 10th size order to fully rebuild my leverage. And then I didn't take the breakout here because I was literally in the car driving when that thing broke. I was on my way home, I believe, when this broke through here. And so I didn't have a chance to reorganize anything until I got home later that night. We had already moved up into these other levels. I can't quite remember, but anyway. Do I do this full time? No, I don't currently do this full time. I work in technology full time, so this is my nighttime gig. That's why this is late night crypto and rum. Actually, I should have called this session. I'm going to rename it right now. I can do that. I have the power. Late night crypto and rum. Although I'm not drinking rum at the moment. I just have a glass of 7-Up here. I was playing with my little man, put him to bed, and I was like, you know what? My wife's working, so I'm gonna go do a live stream and just look at some charts and see what's going on. Get an update for everybody. My thoughts on SNX. It seems due for a breakout. I agree. We'll look at SNX here in a minute. Now, remind me of that if I don't get back to it. Frank, remind me to look at SNX. What I want to talk about kind of tonight, what I had thought maybe we should talk about a little bit is I made a comment. I need to flip this to green. I made a comment in Discord earlier today that, my macro thesis about what my favorite projects are is less impactful now as time goes on. So now we're in the, back in, September or, last summer, September, October, November, we were really looking at, all right, at the early part of the cycle, what were the best projects to hold for the entire bull market? What projects could outperform Bitcoin and have a hodl bag on, as we call it, right? Not trades, just pick up some alongside our Bitcoin and Ethereum we were stacking early on. And I identified Cardano pretty strongly, and I think, right through this dip right here, we were very aggressively building. I had as many people as I could building positions in Cardano down here between 8 cents and 12 cents. I was late to the party on Polkadot. I was kind of old school 2017 mindset coming into this market cycle because I had really not been super involved in crypto the last year or two. I was pretty involved in 2017, 18, 19, and then 2020 I kind of got out of crypto a little bit. But anyway, this is me getting back in it. And so I had pegged, let me change my music. My music is bothering me. I had pegged Polkadot and what its, major tenets were incorrectly. So I was a little late to the party on Polkadot, but I think I built my position right through here, right in January, February, right here when we consolidated in this little wedge right here. This is where I built my, mostly with trade profits too. I mostly was just trade profits building that right through there. But anyway, point of this is that these projects you see up here, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink, those are the main ones that I hold, right? And even later than Polkadot, so it was really, I was a big Ethereum bull at the start of this whole market, and Bitcoin obviously. And then Cardano was my next project I really gravitated toward. It replaced, I had some other pet projects that it replaced, IOTA being one of the big projects it kind of replaced for me. And then Link, I was big on Link the whole time. I've always been big on Link since, like 2018, 19 probably. And I'm really late to the party on Loopring and MATIC. MATIC's the one I kind of want to talk about a little bit tonight. I think it's got some monster upside. It's a mega dark horse in this whole altcoin race. But the point is back then when we were building our positions, it was much more important to figure out what were the best, strongest projects for the entire duration of the bull market for like the next year. At this stage in the game, we're a few months out from the peak and the altcoin madness. It is much less impactful to look at what projects I think are going to be strong in 3 or 5 years, which projects are going to have the weakest bear market, because we're hopefully not going to be in these things in the bear market. It's really looking at what projects are going to get hype, what projects are going to get noticed, and take trades on those. And the other thing I want to talk about is what are we better off in? Are we better off focusing on leveraged Bitcoin or trading in and out of altcoins at this stage? So it's two separate thoughts. So the first thought is, I think that the major projects, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, all these ones that have more liquidity, larger market caps, so forth and so on. And this includes, even though I don't like Litecoin long term, it's irrelevant right now. It's a fantastic trading asset. It's very liquid. There's a lot of places people can buy it. It likes to pump a lot. Steller is a great one. It's got a big name. It's a great one to trade too. I've had some great trades on it. It is now time for us to focus on the technicals, Jordan. Focus on the technicals. And really focus on getting good trades for the rest of this cycle. But the other thing too is, and I think it's going to be healthy to continue to take trades on altcoins where they present themselves and where it makes sense. But here's the thing. We look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. We are coming into a level of support. Now this is, just if you don't know what Bitcoin dominance is, this is how much of the total crypto market cap, all cryptos, that Bitcoin alone is. And so there's a dominance indicator for pretty much every crypto out there. But the Bitcoin dominance is obviously Bitcoin's historically over 50% of the crypto market by itself. And as you see here, it peaked up to 70% when it really started, like January. Remember when Bitcoin was making that really strong run in November, December, and January? This is what the Bitcoin dominance did. Bitcoin sucked the life out of alts. And ever since then, we've been trading alts like crazy. And this is where we've really done really well trading alts in this whole time that Bitcoin's been losing dominance, right? Where altcoins have been picking up steam. But you can see here, I was, in the entire time, I've said it a bunch of times, the sweet spot of the trade was from 70, when we finally got rejected here, and this was when we really started aggressively trading, down to 50. Now we're here at 50. We might fall through 50 briefly. I think we probably will, kind of like we peaked up here at 70. But we are no longer, this is no longer safe to be super aggressive altcoins, especially versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is likely to make a really strong move and again suck the life out of the alts like it did here. You see this big move here and it peaked up. We're probably going to have maybe a little bit of consolidation, drop below, and then boom. Something looks like that, right? So that means Bitcoin's probably going to be out getting most cryptos and most altcoins. And so, that means that Bitcoin is probably the safer trade in general, the place we want to put most of our money. So now is the time to begin finding opportunities to rotate your alts into Bitcoin. I have to keep a drink here because my mouth gets dry, sorry. So I am always looking for opportunities. I moved a little bit of ETH. You see, as we came up into here, I saw this top of this little bit of a channel that's kind of forming. I went ahead and took some profits on ETH there. I shaved some of my ETH hodl bag. ADA, I'm waiting for this breakout, and I'm going to look at a level that takes a little bit of profit off table. DOT, same thing. Link, same thing. I almost took profit here on Link, but I got greedy and said, you know what, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. I'm going to wait for the top, it to come up to the top of this channel that we had, at least. So I still think they're going to break out, but this is a good time to be looking at that. The other thing, too, is that if the Bitcoin dominance is going to rise, that means Bitcoin, by and large, is outperforming altcoins. So really, now is the time to be building an aggressive leverage position on Bitcoin for two reasons. One, we know where the bottom is. The bottom is 46 or 47, whatever. The 120 is the bottom, roughly, right? We hit it. There's a ton of support in this area. We're not going to get meaningfully, if we, have an unexpected sell-off toward the end of the week here. I expect consolidation, through Friday and maybe next weekend some volatility, and then early May is probably going to be where we break out and just go hugely parabolic. That's my guess right now. I don't know. But if we consolidate here a little bit and then break out, You know, we know where the bottom is. The bottom is going to be 47 roughly, right? So you can be pretty aggressive about building your, you know, keep your liquidation level probably below, still well below 40K, I would recommend highly. Just because we could have a liquidity purge all the way to say 42, but I think that's like the worst case scenario. But Bitcoin is probably going to be outperforming the alts. And so really the safe trade right now, the predictable trade, is to be more focused on our leveraged alt positions and building those up than it is to be trading in and out of alts. I think both are healthy and both are good to do, but that's just my focus right now. My focus is on getting the position rebuilt as safely as I can. I do think we are going to sell off a little bit, you know, like I said, some consolidation. I'm kind of looking at, I was looking at this level, so I've got orders in. I had them at 52.2. Can't remember exactly what I picked at. I might need to pick them up to 52.5 now that we've kind of formed a little bit of support above this. So this level right here, I'm looking at adding some, coming back in to test this. I'm looking at adding some, wherever that ends up being. And then I've got orders all the way down at 49.1, just in case we come all the way down there, right? And I'll always keep like those Hail Mary orders on. So my Hail Mary orders right now are 45K. Like just in case we get a crazy liquidity purge, I'd like to pick up some really cheap, you know, Bitcoin on a big wick down and right back up, right? Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's my thoughts right now. Let's take a look at comments. Hey, Brent. Shouldn't it break 55K? I believe this is too early for any conclusion. Bijan, yeah. Well, so here, take a look at this. First of all, coming into the end of the month, we typically are weak, and you see the monthly. The monthly opened at 58. So yeah, we can, you know, I would rather us close red for the weekly. That's by Friday, right? I think the weekly closes, well, the monthly close, not weekly. The monthly closes Friday. So by Friday, I don't want to be above 58 for sure. I want it to be a red monthly just to get that out of the way, right? So 55K or below would be great. We'll probably come into 55K resistance too at some point this week. I don't know exactly the levels. I mean, you see the levels I have here. The broader levels are 55,661 and 49,126. So really that's our trading range for the remainder of the week. 49 probably is a bit of a stretch for us to hit that at this point. Of course, you never know. Somebody dumps overnight. You never know what's going to happen, right? This is a really short term. But that's kind of my lowest area of potential right there. You see that's where that's the lowest daily close that we had, and that's where we opened the next day and blasted off. So that's going to be some really strong support now that we had that complete change in momentum right at that level. Yeah, so 55K probably be a little bit of resistance. We got some work to do to get through that, but I think early next month we'll have a little bit of a blast off. So good question though. Thank you for the question or the comment too. But yeah, it'll break 55K before long for sure. But you know, I think it's early next month. We'll see. Oh, good job, Thomas, on building your 80 position there. What's everyone's thoughts on SNX seems due for a breakout? So yeah, SNX, I'm gonna go to it right now. I think you've asked about it maybe a couple times. This is my Bitcoin. You know, unless you're taking a leverage USD trade, you know, a lot of these smaller names I just buy. I have a couple different wallets where I hold a couple of these different sets of coins, and buy small amounts of them. I have a little bit of SNX myself. Yeah, it looks due for a breakout for sure. I like it. Synthetics is obviously a very big name in the DeFi space. There's your level right there. Get above that for trades. But I've got a bag of it, so I'm just holding on to it. And I take profits on these big spikes. So I don't think I had a bag. See, January. Yeah, I didn't have a bag coming into early February. I built it over here on this dip right through here. So next good spike, I'll take profit. That's just the way I do with these small altcoins, right? So VET spiked big. I took profit. I took profit early. I took profit here, and then I took the remainder of my profit. I think right here. So I didn't get the top, but you know, whatever. So now I'm waiting to get back into VET. This is an example of when these things move big, I just take profit, get back into Bitcoin, and then wait for them to cool off and then get back into them when I see signs that they're about to break out again. But I love, so VET's a good one. SNX is a great one. MATIC broke out. So the other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was MATIC. You brought up SNX. SNX I sold at 29, super bearish now. Let's look at the SNX USD chart. Well, SNX is really dependent on do we get another pop in DeFi. I don't think SNX looks bearish per se. I got on the USD chart. I've got it all over the place. Let's just get rid of everything. It kind of is, yeah. I mean, on the USD chart, it does look a little bearish. Definitely bearish. So here's a channel that's kind of been forming. I mean, I guess if it had a longer chart, that could almost be a gargantuan bull flag. I doubt it, though. But given that we're in you know, crypto season in general, 2021 is the year of crypto. This is a big DeFi name. So if we got a DeFi Pulse, right? And I've showed this a bunch of times before, but if I go to derivatives, Synthetics is the #1 derivatives player with 1.88 billion in locked-in value, and that continues to rise. What's up with this weird chart going crazy? So I got a 1 year. Here's the value locked in DeFi. We had a little bit of a drop because Bitcoin dropped, but and a lot of this is derivative value of Bitcoin and other related crypto assets. But here's the value locked in DeFi, and you can see, you know, for a while there, it was just going uber parabolic. And this is obviously simply a little glitch, but it was going uber parabolic, and it's cooled off a little bit. And so it really depends on if we get another DeFi, you know, pop this summer. I bet we probably do. So SNX would be a part of that group that would pop. All right, let's take a look at comments here. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too bearish on, if you're bullish on crypto, being bearish on Synthetics is probably not a smart play. Now, the chart, I mean, you have valid reason for being bearish right now with this chart, so I get that. Fair enough on that one. When do you think alts will peak this cycle? So I think if you're asking me when do alts peak versus Bitcoin, I think they have early on. So what happens is there's a couple of stages. When Bitcoin makes its parabolic blow off top, it sucks the life out of alts. And then after Bitcoin sells off, money rotates back into alts, so alts pop versus Bitcoin again. So if you're asking me, do I think alts appreciate versus Bitcoin the rest of the way? I think they're due for some consolidation and then Bitcoin to take back some of its dominance, quote unquote. And then, you know, the alts will really peak like in October. Would be what I imagine. Whenever the Bitcoin bull cycle is over with, then altcoins typically, you know, past cycle, the only cycle we really have with altcoins, you know, Ethereum and other altcoins just went ballistic independently, but they went pretty ballistic right after Bitcoin sold off that last time. It was rampant speculation. So I think we're coming into an area of support, so Bitcoin should regain some dominance here, which means that altcoins are probably going to lose value versus Bitcoin. Now, versus the USD, I expect Bitcoin to make a huge rampage of a move in the next, say, month or so. And if it really makes a monster, you know, another monster impulse up, a la what we did when we broke out of the all-time high here from December through January, something looks like about like this, maybe even bigger. If we do that, of course, all the altcoins are going to appreciate in value versus fiat, you know, versus whatever you're trading, USD or Euro or whatever. Yeah, it'll gain value versus that, but it doesn't matter. You know, if you're in crypto and you're holding something that's losing value versus Bitcoin, you're losing. It's that simple. Unless you're trading it, right? Unless your base account's Bitcoin and you're just taking trades on it, that's a different story. BTC dominance has fallen below support. Not according to my chart. Where's the support right there? See those touches way back here? 50, and it's a psychological level too. It's 50% of the market cap. So yeah, I mean, it fell below this. Maybe this. I have this thing is marked as support. It's now resistance. That's not a significant level. 50 is the level. It's psychological, right? 35%, 50%, 70%. Those are big psychological levels. All right, take a look. So according to my chart, though, no, we're coming into support right now. I held on to Dent from a massive pump to a 70% sell-off. Thoughts on taking profits as certain coins go parabolic? Hey, Jared, yeah. Basically, anytime an altcoin appreciates roughly 30% versus Bitcoin, I'm going to take profits, right? That's about what these pumps are. If you look at most of these pumps, let me just go find one randomly. I don't know. I don't have any pumps. What is this? What does this move? So you see here, like Cosmos had a big pump. This is probably way more than 30%. It's 146%. Yeah, a lot of these moves, these independent legs up, a lot of them are 30 to 50%, and then they kind of slow down versus Bitcoin. That was a lot more. I'm not finding a good example in mine. It's a really bad example. Let's look at DOT. Like this, here's what I know for a fact. It's pretty close. All right. So DOT here, you see here this move from I measured from when you would have entered the trade. You'd been really aggressive to enter trades down here, but you could have. That's a 60% move there. The trade entry really was right here. You see that little bit of consolidation right there. That would have been a pretty safe entry, relatively speaking. And that's about a 50%, 40% move. So I would have probably been in a trade for, now I had, well, it doesn't matter. This is the sweet spot of the trade for me. Entering here, taking profit into that resistance right there, right? That's a sweet spot of the trade. Then you re-enter somewhere over here, and then see what the next move was. That's 20-something%, you know. And this one, I don't know if I took profit myself. I mean, I was trading in and out of DOT during all this. But these individual impulses are typically somewhere around 30%. So let's see here. From this, so this entry right here, say this is a 12-hour, this is a daily chart. So if I go like to 12-hour, you see a little bit more higher fidelity. But say there's an entry right here I was looking at, right? So from the entry, about 30% move is what these things typically, it's a good place to take profit. It's right around 30%. When you have an individual impulse from a good clean entry, like say that's the entry right there, you'll see a lot of these are right around 30%, 20%, 30%, there's 20% there. So yeah, I mean, basically the way that I play at those, I map out my resistance, and I usually have a resistance that's my target, right, for a trade. Now, to your point, these smaller altcoins like VET would be a good example of one that you don't take profits on, like these smaller ones. And VET's not really that small. Like HBAR would be an example. Say you had a big move on HBAR. Say you were big in this one. Hedera hash graph-based crypto project. These you have to let run a little bit more. So what you do, here's what I do with these. All I do is I draw a parabolic line. I say, okay, all right, we've taken off, we blasted off. I'm going to draw a parabolic line. Right? And basically, I'm going to try my best to let the trade stay on until I see it starting to come into that line or come down out of it. And then I'll take profit as it comes back into it as resistance. So the best way to try to capture, so say you had bought in, I don't know, somewhere down here. And it just took off. So say you bought in right here, I don't know. And it just took off, right? So you can try your best to take, so 130%, you probably would have been tempted to take profit 70, 80, but it would have kept you in the trade to just draw this line, and you would have stayed in the trade all the way up to 300% gain. At that point, you know, you can see it starting to cool off. As it came into this parabolic trend line, that's really your place to take profit. I know it doesn't look like it's optimal, but that's the best way to try to gauge this stuff. And so right at that point, it's 135% gain. But it would have kept you in the trade instead of getting out at one of these lower points, 80-something%, when it stayed on that parabolic trend line. The other thing to do is wait for it to come down below it and come back into it as resistance if you can. So like this, you would have still been in the trade. It would have blown through it. So instead of taking profit here at 114%, wait for it to come back into it as resistance at 155%. There's your profit. So that's a pretty good way to try to maximize. But when it breaks down outside of this, what happens is it almost always consolidates. And then you'll get another entry later, right? So you get to ride this leg up here, figure out when it breaks down out of this parabolic. Now, honestly, how I would have done, if say I was in Hedera, which I pulled this one because I knew it moved pretty big. Say I was in Hedera. I'd have been watching it on like the 4-hour, and what I would have done is this. All right, I've got this, you know, pseudo parabolic trend line, but then we blasted off out of this consolidation even more. So you have a bit of a consolidation here. So all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find another parabolic trend line, and I'm going to try to, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a breakdown on the 4-hour. So when this breaks down below it, I'm going to take and sell right there into resistance on it, right? So I would have. If say I was in Hedera somewhere down here at, I don't know, 13 cents, I would have ended up selling as it came into that at 40 cents. So I would have been in the trade from whatever, 13 cents, let's say, all the way up to, so a 214% gain. That's how I would have handled that, right? So I just would have found the parabolic trend line, wait for it to break down. It's going to bounce back into it as resistance and get rejected off of it. Take your profits, coming back into that resistance. That's the best way I can think of. That's the best way I know how to handle these when they go uber parabolic. VET, for example. Here's how I've handled VET. Let me show you that. It's a really good question, though. Thank you. This is a good topic I needed to kind of address. It's kind of a nuanced thing, but... All right. So the reason I took VET, a profit on VET where I did both times, if you look at the chart, I did the exact same thing I'm talking about. I'm like, all right, we took off. Right, we came out of this resistance, beautiful. I'm gonna let this run, like this type of stuff run. But when I see it go like this, all right. So I saw it take off like that, right? And I came into resistance there. I think I did sell it coming into the resistance here because I saw it come back down. But in theory, I should have waited probably and for it to bounce back into here. I don't know if I did or not. I know I took profit right on here. I don't know if I just, okay, we're coming into resistance, I'm gonna take profit, or if I waited for it to break down and come back into that. And then again, you know, you see this same pattern playing out. Now we go even more parabolic. So you would have drawn a line through here. And that got you out really good. It depends on, you know, it's really hard to say when you're looking at this price action at the time. It's easier after the fact to find these levels. Right, but when this thing broke out again like this, you got to find some sort of like parabolic move. So it probably would have been, you probably would have picked this level. That would have made more sense. That peak down right there. You know, okay, I blasted off. I came back into it. As long as I stay above one of these levels. This one's a lot harder. I'm looking at the BTC chart. If I bet USD, I think was easier to pick. Yeah, this is a lot easier. That's why. BTC is like a tough one. So something like that, right? You would have seen that, right? And so when you as long as you're above this trend line, you can stay in the trade. As soon as you break down, the bounce back into resistance here would have been your level. So if you would have drawn this line, the same line that I drew right here, as you saw these peak downs, as soon as you broke down below it and came up into it as resistance, that's when you sell. You don't wait for the resumption down. Just go ahead and take your profit into resistance, and if it breaks back above it, then either try to be super aggressive or just wait. Just wait for it at that point probably. But almost always when it breaks down solidly and kind of like shows you some consolidation here and then tries to retest it, it's probably gonna go at least into consolidation, which is still way up, right? But it's consolidating now. But the other thing about trades is you'd rather put your capital to work when something's going to go sideways for a while and consolidate. You'd rather put your capital to work somewhere else and get back into that instrument whenever it's expanding again. All right, so that's the best answer I have for you. I hope that helps. I've got a bunch of redacted messages here. Thoughts on MATIC, SXP, AVAX? I like all three of them. Is SXP SXP is. No, I'm thinking SNX. What's SXP? SXP. Oh, why is this not on black? Swipe. Oh, I've looked at Swipe. Hold on. Give me a second. Swipe token. Yeah, I read up on Swipe recently. I think. I don't remember what conclusion I came to. Honestly, I'd have to go reread this. Give me just a second. Maybe I can remember. Goodness gracious, there's so many projects out there. I read up on this at some point, and I don't remember my conclusion on SXP. Sorry about that. But you asked about MATIC. I love MATIC. MATIC I think is a beast, and AVAX is also a beast. Great projects. Rita put out some fire in those. VET is currently making an attempt at taking off without the crowd. Yeah, well. Why is XRP pumping? I don't know, because people like to buy things that are going to burn them. Like, here's the problem with XRP. I guess I got it down here. What direction is that chart going? This is versus Bitcoin. XRP's value is terminally losing. XRP is terminally losing value versus Bitcoin. It's useless. All right, sorry about that, but yeah, I had to. Good evening, Jordan. A different Jordan. No problem, Jaron. One up on MATIC. MATIC is awesome. So yeah, the other project I did want to talk about MATIC a little bit. So you guys know, most of you know that I'm a big fan of Cardano. Obviously, I think Cardano is going to do big things. I'm a fan of Ethereum. I like all the smart contract platforms. I like platforms because platforms like, this whole NFT craze, I didn't have to worry about chasing down too many NFT projects because I had exposure in the space by having Ethereum. So I don't really stress about it. I had Engine too, which is another obviously NFT play, gaming NFT. But my Ethereum exposure gave me exposure to all that. And then Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink, I'm big on those. The dark horse in that whole platform race, so, you know, there's a lot of people, oh, is Cardano going to be the Ethereum killer, or is Polkadot going to be the Ethereum killer? You know, the thing that might be the Ethereum killer is not another layer 1 platform, but a layer 2 platform that is an Uber layer 2 that makes all the layer 1s irrelevant, because it snaps into all these different layer 1 blockchains and you know, systems, and it gives developers and users access to the best of all that all these different projects have. So I mean, think about it. How many layer 1s are there out there? Well, let's go to my list here. Steller is a layer 1 technically. Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin, of course, but we're not. It's not a smart contract platform. Let's see here. Zalika, Elrond, those are layer 1s. Algorand's a layer 1. I guess technically it's not a smart contract platform. You've got your Trons. We were talking about Tron earlier. Tron's 1. You know, I guess XRP technically XLM. Doge would be. We won't talk about that. But it's a bunch. It's a bunch of. My point is, it's a bunch of layer 1s. And so, you know, where each layer 1 has its strength. Algorand, for example, is a very fast, you know, high transactions per second. And based on my research, Algorand actually has the highest real transaction per second. Others advertise more. Algorand is actually the leader in actual provable transactions per second, as far as my research. Elrond is right there with them, and Elrond's got some sharding scaling that they'll eventually probably pass them. Now, Cardano is obviously the big mega dark horse in that. Right now, Cardano is much more focused on a lot of other broader things, like allowing, you know, with the Ayala interface, being able to allow anybody to program in any programming language, smart contracts in any programming language. And the Ouroboros consensus protocol is fast, but with Hydra scaling, it'll be really fast. But that's not their focus right now. But with Hydra scaling in theory, but today, you know, Algorand's pretty fast. Tron's, you know, relatively fast, but it uses DPoS. EOS is another layer 1 platform. There's a bunch of them. Right? There's a ton of them. So some of them are fast. Some of them have really open programmability. Some have, you know, better connectivity, like Polkadot, and a lot more diversity of projects. So the list goes on and on and on of the advantages of one layer 1 versus another layer 1. And Ethereum obviously is the leader by you know, it's the only one that has any real usage on it. So, but if you're going to take advantage of all that, you know, instead of having to pick one ecosystem, having to pick just Cardano and just do everything that Cardano does and live with that, why not snap into something like MATIC, who's going to have tentacles into everything, be an Uber layer 2 that's going to have a multitude. So they rebranded to Polygon lately because MATIC itself was focused on something called optimistic rollups. And so optimistic, plasma side, optimistic rollups, I'm sorry, plasma side chains. And so just being a plasma side chain, there's benefits and drawbacks to having a plasma side chain. And then there's different type of roll-up. So LRC is a loop ring is an example of a roll-up type of infrastructure, and that excels at like exchange and like, you know, moving currency around, doing the settling transactions between, you know, wallet addresses and things like that. So, but they're rebranded as Polygon because they're going to go with a let's just pull up their website. They're going to go with a multi-faceted approach. So they're not going to be just a sidechain. They're going to have roll-ups and multiple types of sidechains. But let's just go to MATIC. So when they rebranded as Polygon, that's why they did that. And so when you really start to think about what they're building, so they call themselves Ethereum's Internet of Blockchain, okay? But when you look at what they're building, they're going to have multiple facets. This is why they're getting so much hype, is that they have this plasma sidechain already. So you see here that their POS chain is live, the plasma chain is live. They're going to have ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, standalone chains, and shared security chains. So they're going to have multiple layer 2 scaling mechanisms that hook into multiple layer 1s. Right now they're focused on Ethereum, obviously, because that's the only one that has any real usage. But they will be able to hook into any of the major chains, and they're going to have multiple methods of scaling. And so when you go to use the You see MATIC Plasma is live, right? ZK rollups, which is what Loopring does, is coming soon, supposedly. Optimistics and then Validium chains after that. But having this one Uber Layer 2 scaling solution that hooks into, uses the Ethereum, which is the only actual working smart contract platform, really, with all the actual usage. This multitude of capability is interesting, and that they remain the leader. So yeah, so you see here, these are secured side chains and these are standalone chains, right? So they have their own standalone chain, and they've got side chains and rollups. But having this one giant ecosystem that, you know, gives developers access to all to scaling and everything all in one place, I think it's going to be a big deal. Now, there's a lot of things a Layer 2 scaling can't necessarily do on its own. That's why they need their own chains. Totally different topic, but they're getting there. So this is definitely the dark horse, and this could definitely put a damper on Polkadot and Cardano's plans. I'm not too concerned about Polkadot and Cardano, especially this market cycle, but, you know, 5 years from now, MATIC could be the, you know, the Google of the space. And it's obfuscating a lot of things behind it that users don't need to know about. All right, take a look at comments here. Brandon, of you just put that line on the resistance side of the price action, let it break up to the upside and take profit, crosses back down. You don't have almost had the top of that move. Thanks, Bijan. So I've got something stuck in my tooth. It's killing me. Really appreciate it. No problem. Look at the comments here. Anybody else have any projects they want me to look at? Let me take a look at this. What I kind of want to do is be open and look at projects today. I needed to go look at some charts. So obviously Bitcoin's bouncing back. I don't know if anybody has any questions about where we are. I think the bottom was clearly 47. The 120-day moving average is clearly the bottom. We hit that and just bounced resoundingly off of it. We're going to consolidate a bit, probably pull back at some point a little bit, scare some people, shake some people out. I like this 51.3 level as a possible place to lean in if it can get back there. That'd be like maybe one of the best opportunities to add. But outside of that, you know, I kind of want to look at just different projects and just start researching look at some different charts. So if anybody has anything they want me to look at, let me know. So we talked about MATIC. Will MATIC hit $1 this week? Ooh, I have no idea what MATIC even is. I watch all these alts versus my Bitcoin chart because all I care about is am I winning or am I gaining more sats? All right, let me just look at the USD chart. 56 cents, no. Not $1 this week. I don't think so. That seems like a bit much of a move. A double in 1 week, yeah. You might hit, you know, $2 by the end of next month. That's a possibility. The big moves are going to happen next month. This week is going to be a weak week. So coming into the end of the month with options expiring Friday, we're likely to get some just sideways action here in crypto. You know, some things will pop, some things won't. Bitcoin will probably consolidate a little bit, maybe make another small leg up here. But I think it's going to be a pretty boring week, given the action that we've had prior the rest of the week. And then the fireworks should start this weekend into early next month. So, but yeah, I don't think MATIC's going to hit $1 by the end of the week. That'd be a bit much. StormX, please. All right, let's take a look at StormX. I don't think I know anything about StormX. StormX. I'm going to first look at the project here. Let's get a sense of what we're talking about. 2015. They rebrand. It seems like I should have heard about this. Cashback for online purchases. Oh, I have. This is one of the cashback loyalty programs. All right. Secured by Ethereum. Blah, 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 blah. Let's look at their website real fast. They are 131. I have heard of them. It's a loyalty program thing. Yeah. Cashback program. I don't know if it's a loyalty program per se. I kind of had it pinned as a loyalty program. StormX. I don't really remember. I feel like this was rebranded at some point. I feel like this is a different name at some point. But maybe I'm wrong. This is Singapore based. All right, let's look at the chart. You know, I suppose it's a reasonable space to be. I'm not super big on this like loyalty programs return, you know, this type of space per se, but let's take a look at StormX chart. I don't know. Let's look at their token. What's their token? Is STMX. MX. Let's look at the USD chart. I like the USD chart. I'm gonna take the 120 off here. The 120 I only use for Bitcoin. I don't. The moving averages don't matter for these altcoins. They're just kind of useless. Beautiful. Yeah. So I mean, good. You've had some consolidation here. You've got a little. This is actually a channel. A bit, but it doesn't really matter. You break out above it. You know, you're changing a trend. You're coming into support right here, though. Let's look at the daily. So your last attempt to go bullish was right here, and then it got rejected. So you got to take that level out. It was a good level to take out right there. So you see that rejection at this. Now these should have this close and that open. So it bounced a little bit right there and then came back down. So I'd want to take out the top of that, the close of that first bullish try, and then it immediately got rejected that next candle. Now it should have opened. You see how this little gap happens in crypto? It should have opened right there. So we're going to call that the level. So you came into resistance at it right now. That's is that cents? Is that USD? I guess about 5 cents, 49.49 roughly, right? About 50 cents. So yeah, we sold. You had this nice move. You sold off, and you tried to go bullish right here, and immediately got rejected right at that level. And then you formed the base, and you're pushing back up into it. So breaking that level would be bullish for two reasons. One, you're getting outside of this downtrend, consolidation pattern that you put in. And over here, you see this right here. This is the first attempt to go. So after this big bullish push, this is the last attempt to go bearish. This is the last daily bearish candle. And the market picked right back up and kept going and roasted the bears. So this is another important level. So we held that level. So beautiful consolidation. This breakout is coming back to retest that level one more time. The market is resoundingly telling you that bulls are ready to buy below that level. And so you're looking good. A nice bounce off of that. Get above that 49 level. Get outside this. And you're looking for it to break. Now you can take a flat breakout. Like right now, you could probably put on a trade. It's not financial advice. You could probably put on a trade that's coming to that level and put a really tight stop loss. I wouldn't personally. I'd just be patient. It's going to break out and come back and blast off. You can take a breakout. Here's a breakout level. You see this daily candle right here? That daily candle, the top of that daily candle, there's your breakout level. If you want to take a breakout trade, take the top of that candle. So if you blow out and take out the top price action, as soon as you get pretty well above that, give it a couple of cents here to put your order in at. So like 58 cents. So if you take that wick out right there, that's a pretty good breakout level to take. Otherwise, you're probably going to break out, hit that level, bounce back down to confirm this is support, and then take off. And that's going to be your breakout retest resumption, which is the best confirmation signal you can have, is to wait for the market to show you that something is going to flip, a level is going to flip from resistance to support, or the other way down if you're taking a trade down to validate that support is going to now become resistance. So if you wait for the market to show you that, that's the best possible trade, right? So break 49, hit 58, get rejected, come back to 49, test 49, and then resume off of 49. That resumption, that tells you that 49 is now good support, and it lets you put a stop loss. You know that if you trade meaningfully below this level, it's going back down the other direction. I would personally put my stop loss below this lower level, this 37 level, because what happens a lot is you just get, if Bitcoin moves around, wiggles around a little bit, this can wick down and come right back up. I'm going to put it down here to avoid that wick down. But if that were to happen and I see it actually trade down here, I will take my trade off manually as I come into that resistance, knowing that we've broken down and I'm waiting for that bounce back in to test that resistance and then that resumption down. I'm going to go ahead and preemptively close this trade out a small loss coming into that resistance, just because the odds are, now that I'm trading below it, I'm going to continue down. So that's how I manage crypto too. Another small note, right? I put my stop losses 2 support levels below to avoid being wicked out of trades, and I manually, if I see this breakdown but I don't get stopped out by that wick, if I see this ping-ponging around in here, odds are we're going to either go sideways or go down, so I'm going to go ahead and take profit coming into that resistance. I'm gonna close out the trade at small loss, come into that resistance, and not wait for my stop loss to get hit. All right, so that's a breakdown. Thank you. It's a good one to bring up. Project-wise, technology-wise, it's not a space I'm super hyped about, so I'm not going to be super hyped about the project. This sets up as a beautiful trade setting up right now. Beautiful, beautiful trade. So good one to bring up. Thank you very much. Can you take a look at IOTA and ADA? Ramsey, yeah, I can, if you're still out there. One Harmony, you got a bunch of different ones. All right, let me go back up here. So the last one I looked at, ADA is breaking out right now. I'm on with you guys. I can't take my trade. I had planned to take a trade on this. Where's Dot? I've got a nice big fat trade on Dot right here. I loved it. This is beautiful. I love that. I took that right there. And yeah, my stop is, probably down here. I got a nice big trade on Dot. I'm waiting for ADA. ADA's trying to break out right now. Looks great. And you asked about, let's just go back up to the top here. Off topic. I got a Ryan. How much money do you need to invest if you want to mine crypto? How long does it take to set up? Ryan, I have a video on that. Right now, you'd be investing way too much money. You don't have enough time left in the cycle. Ethereum's going to proof of stake, yada, yada, yada. Wait till the bear market. Start mining in the bear market. Never start mining in the bull market. It's that simple. In the bear, I'm going to sell my mining rigs. I sold one of them in December. I'm going to sell the other ones here probably the next, couple months when Ethereum's really ramping. And I'll use my laptop for a couple months and then build me a new baller gaming system, early next year in the bear market. And after Christmas and all that stuff has calmed down, probably January, February, order me the most insane system you've ever heard of, because video cards are going to come crashing back down in price. And that's when you get back into mining. I might build me another mining rig. I'll probably buy me some, actually Bitcoin ASIC miners just for fun myself. That's the best time to get in. So right now is the bad time. All right, let's see here. I'm late, but I'm looking to get back in on ADA and Link. Do you think we'll see another dip before entries? No, Jordan, I don't. I think this is the bottom. I think you just dipped. You're just coming. This is the best possible time to get into things that you were waiting to get into. You waited out the dip. You got the dip. You got the bottom on Bitcoin specifically. You got the bottom signal. We're clearly resuming up on Bitcoin, even though it's going to consolidate here and probably shake some really weak cans out with a little bit of a small, it's really just going to be consolidation, but people are going to be, it's selling off. No, it's just consolidating. This is the best possible time to get in. You're getting entry signals all over the place. We've just bottomed out. You're getting, this is the best time. You're waiting for your resumption signals. This is when trading is safe again. Not on the way down trying to catch the falling knife at the bottom. It's when you've bottomed out, you can clearly see you've bottomed out, and now you're resuming back up. So I do not think you're going to get better prices. If you do, it'll be marginally better, but it won't be it'll be marginally better. You're better off being pretty aggressive about looking for entries right now and just managing them appropriately. That's my opinion, not financial advice. I'm an idiot. You'll lose all your money. Is it okay to buy Dot now? Yes. Spot? Yeah, for sure. Look at Dot's chart. Look at that, came into that bottom trend line I had there, and we just broke out above this trend line. You've got here's how much headroom you got ahead of you. I've got a target of $100 on Dot. Not financial advice. You lose all your money. $100 on Dot by the end of next month. That's my target. It's a big target, but we went from $5 to $42 in 2 months. So going from 30 to 33 to 100 is not that crazy of a stretch in this phase of the market. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a move from where we're at up to nearly, and maybe it doesn't hit $100 right away before it obviously consolidates majorly or sells off, but somewhere up in this stratospheric level, right? It'll probably hit. Who knows? Who knows what it'll actually do? But that's my target, right? It's a pretty good setup. What's up, Jay Carey? Yeah, better late than never for sure. Yeah, so Jordan, I hope that answered your question. I don't think you see better entries. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know how these things work, but you gave me a little fist bump. I appreciate that. Sheepy side. Did I answer your question, maybe? MATIC, Text, Attic, IOTA. So HBAR, IOTA, all these, I'm just going to constantly put out the caution here that I do not personally feel after a lot of research. I was big into IOTA for a long time. It's a just directed acyclic graph, DAG based. So all these, so H bar, IOTA, they're all directed acyclic graph based ledgers. So the decentralized ledgers like a blockchain, but they're not blockchains. They use a slightly different method of tracking transactions called a directed acyclic graph. I do not think that they have been really figured out yet. There's been constant problems. I do not know where IOTA is with their core side. So they have the biggest problem with IOTA is that in order to operate their network, they have something called a coordinator node, and it's a form of centralization. Kind of like it's a bigger form of centralization than like even DPoS, which I constantly rail on. Delegated proof of stake. I constantly call this a form of centralization. I think it's a hack. I think it's, Anyway, IOTA uses this coordinator node, and they're supposed to be killing it. It's called core-to-side. They're making it more decentralized. I don't know if this is pumping on news around core-to-side, possibly. But from a chart perspective, let's take a look at the chart here. Now, again, what I said earlier about whether I think a project's good or not is becoming less and less relevant for the remainder of this bull market cycle. It's just a matter of what gets hype and what pumps. And look at the charts, right? I kind of maybe see a bit of a channel here, kind of. I have to play with this to see what levels I actually like. You get the idea, right? Bit of a weak uptrend channel here, which is really kind of not very. Didn't give me the warm and fuzzies with that little bit of a slight uptrend that we got there. It's almost like a big bear flag. But you got a pretty, strong consolidation here. If you can break out of this, here's your level. I mean, you came into support right there, that little wick right there. Wick high. Let's go to the daily. We're on the daily. Perfect. So this is your level right there, right? So the last time we tried, you broke that above that level, right? So we bounced, rejected, blew through it. So I guess on IOTA, you can look for entries outside of all this. You're back above this level here. You move back in the right direction. I bet my trend lines. I bet I can find a better trend line I'm gonna like better. Probably cutting through here. Now look at this, something like this. So I think if you play with the trend lines, you'll probably find that you're actually back above a key trend line, and then you're going to be coming into resistance on another trend line. Here. Yeah, so I mean, it's reasonable. Again, just a warning I have, a long-term on IOTA, these DAG-based projects, I don't know that they've been fully vetted, figured out yet. When one does get it figured out, whether it be IOTA or HBAR or there's a couple others, whoever wins this space, whoever wins the graph-based ledger space, whoever kind of figures this out, if they can make it a really viable chain, they're going to have a huge advantage, a monster advantage, technology advantage. It is superior, probably, technology to blockchain in many, many ways. So it's definitely worth tracking. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on. So yeah, that's what I see on IOTA there. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. It's in an uptrend. You broke down out of this channel, came back, bounced back into it nicely, took out this level, and now you're resuming up. So it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good to me. If I go down like a really low time frame, I bet. There's your entry right there. It just happened. There was a pretty decent entry right there. So you're not too far above it now to take an entry. Not financial advice, fan by the river, lose all your money, yada, yada, yada. But you're not too far above it to take an entry. This is probably worth an entry. Take this trade here and look at trimming some profit there. Maybe, something like that. All right. That was IOTA. Let's go to the very bottom here. I'm going to go bottom up. Bonfire token. Dash. Let's just jam through some charts. Dash USD. I'm not a big fan of Dash. Anything that's a currency, I think, is not going to win versus Bitcoin. Is this lining up? Oh my God, that's just too easy right there. Yeah, you can. There's a bunch of entries on Dash. Dash is looking good. Plenty of uptrend. Yeah, you can find entries all over the place on this one. I'm not a big fan of it, but again, not that it doesn't matter so much. Bonfire. How do you spell that? Bonfire? 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 I don't know what bonfire is. Bonfire? Bonfire token. I don't, can you give me the actual token symbol? The graph. I saw somebody post the graph here. Let's look at the graph. AVAX. I love AVAX. AVAX is great. Let's look at AVAX's chart. I haven't looked at it in a while. AVAX is great. So yeah, I was obviously doing some work on another live stream. So this white line is obviously some important level at some point. Yeah, you've just been consolidating so long here on AVAX. I mean, I love the project. I think it's worth having a hodl bag. I would not blame anybody for just buying some blindly and just holding it to the end of the cycle because it'll pump at some point. I don't really have a good answer for you. See this green line obviously had that keyed up as support. You broke down below it, you're back above it. You're coming into resistance. Sounds a lot of historical resistance here. Let's go let's look really zoom in here. So you can see here, here's something for you. I can kind of see those touches there. Yeah, I mean, really, you know, you're going to be coming into some resistance right here. I'm going to go to the daily and find your resistance. There's your resistance right there. Perfect. Get above this, you can take trades. This is probably worth trading on AVAX or looking at taking positions. That's going to be your key resistance, 27.45-ish. That last bullish candle, it's going to be resistance for you. It's coming into it now. So, you know, blow above that on AVAX, looking good. All right. GRT, I love the graph. I've got probably a little bit too overzealous with buying it myself recently. I mean, I bought quite a bit of it. We're coming right here, this little breakout here, and I wasn't actively monitoring it or trading it. I saw this potential breakout, and I just went and bought probably too much of it for my little bag. But it's holding support. It's just consolidating here. This is versus on Kraken versus Bitcoin, and obviously, apparently, at one point, I had this turn green. Yeah, the graph isn't something you can trade right now. If you redraw this here, you know, get back above this level and start looking for trades there. I love the project though. It's gonna pop like huge. It's gonna pop. It's gonna move big when it gets its hype cycle. What do I think about BTC nap? We talked about it earlier. Rewind. I've been talking forever about the 120-day SMA. I'm the only crypto trader I know that uses the 120-day SMA. Everybody else uses like the 21-week EMA and some other, I don't know what. People use weird moving averages. Institutions use the SMA. I use the SMA because the people with the big money bags use the SMA. I kept talking about forever that we're going to touch that 120. We did, and now we're back off to the races. Super happy. I'm happy we touched that. I'm a happy camper. I think that was super healthy. And off we go. So Bitcoin's looking great. One Harmony. I did some research on One Harmony. I did some research. People have asked me so much about Harmony, One Harmony. And I've got some notes somewhere here for you guys. Give me 2 seconds here. I liked, there was one small red flag I had. Yeah, the verifiable random function. There was one small red flag I had, but I mean, I was really impressed when I did a deep dive on it. Really, really impressed. So that's to say that it's a legit. What was it? Dang it! I've looked at this like 3 or 4 times. After I got off of a live stream, I went and read up on it for probably about an hour. There was one small thing that I'm 4 shards. There was one small red flag I had on it. I can't remember what it was. Let's look at the chart though. It's a legit project. I'll just leave it at that. There was a red flag. I'll try to remember to bring it up next time if I can remember. I've been asked about it so many times. I have to go back and look at my notes. I think that the token is just one, right? Harmony, just one. Yeah, 1 USD. Let's look at the chart. Ooh, I like this chart. So it's a legit project with a pretty chart. So there you go. So thanks for bringing this one back up. I've had tons of people ask about this. And it's looking beautiful. It's looking beautiful. I do like this, what I'm seeing here. So we've clearly broken out of a large downtrend consolidation. I bet if, you know, again, if you play with this a little bit, you're going to find this really was kind of a channel. that we're trend reversing on now. It's steeper than that. You can see here this, however it ends up lining up, it's out of this now. And it's a trend reversal. It's nice. Something like that was what it was doing. This level here, the reason I said I like it is I immediately saw, you can just see it, right? It's pretty clear. You're coming into this right now, this level of resistance right now. If you can break through this, man, that's just really nice. Let's look at daily levels and get really accurate on our level. There it is right there. We're into resistance. You see that? Last green candle before the big sell-off, and all these green candles would have been levels to watch. You probably could have been super aggressive taking trades on all these levels on the way back up here. But this is the main one, and the reason this is the main one is because it was support. None of these were really, I guess maybe back here these might have been historic levels, but I don't think it's try to go back any further. Oh yeah, it does. Let's go back over here and look and see if there's any symmetry there. I got it all on one page. No, so we're at all-time highs. Okay, or for this chart anyway. This is the main one though, because you see the price action is cut right through there. It was support right there. When we came down into it and bounced off of it, it was never really was resistance, man. It blew right through that level, but it wicked down to roughly this level that we're talking about. So that would be 14 cents. I'm on the USD chart, 14 cents. So yeah, you have to break through. 14 cents is the level. You get through here, and this thing is looks like a good trade setup. I would put your stop loss myself on this trade setup. Breakout, retest, resumption. That's what I'd still try to wait for here. Your breakout level is this level right there, right above the top of that daily wick. That's 16 cents roughly. So if you just blow through here and go straight to 16 cents, you can put on a trade there at 16, a breakout trade, and maybe put like a part of a position on there for the breakout, and then wait for the retest resumption to add even more. I would put your stop loss on the breakout trade. You could do a little bit of a tighter stop loss here. On the resumption trade, I don't know. I would still, no matter what, I'd put my stop loss below this level right here, because if we wick down, I want the market to try to catch that before I get stopped out. And again, it's the same philosophy. If we break down here and I don't get stopped out, I'm gonna go ahead and manually close out when we bounce back up into the prior level that we were watching as the breakout level, because you're probably gonna consolidate some more. It might break down. Most likely, these cryptos, it's just going to be consolidation, and I'd rather just not be messing with that. But yeah, looks great. It's a legit project. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the red flag was on it. There was something technically that I scratched my head a little bit, and I can't remember what it was. What do we got? Hey, yeah, I did some TA on MATIC, I think, Rita. If you back up in this live stream, I'm pretty sure. So, no, I probably didn't. It just broke out hard, right? I have talked about MATIC for a couple of weeks, months now. I don't even know. We were tracking this whole consolidation pattern here, and it broke out hard. And I bought, on these touches right here. I think I bought here and here, right? As we came into that level twice, and I saw it kind of confirming as support. I bought twice. I didn't take a breakout trade here, but that was your trade right there. This breakout level of this consolidation. That would have been your breakout. Right now, you're up in the stratospheric levels. This is getting close to take profit levels. I have to look at this myself and see if I want to look at taking some profit. This one I'm really letting run though. Yeah, I'm at 50%. At this stage, this is versus Bitcoin. That's a really strong move for versus Bitcoin. That's really strong. So this is probably a time to look at taking some profits. So what you do to take profits on these is, now what we need to do is we need to draw this parabolic trend line. As long as we stay above this, just stay in the trade. Don't. I did this earlier. So see this little wick down right here? I started looking at this pretty close earlier, and I was watching to see if we broke down right there. And we didn't close down below that on a 4-hour. So I stayed in the trade this whole time. So that's the level to watch, I think, right there. Somewhere, you can pick, and you can do it like this too. Come out here and pull, try that one. That might be a little bit better than trying to stay with this super parabolic. Get zoomed in here to help us get a better trend line too. Go to the 1 hour even, just to kind of help us with the trend line. But as long as we're above this price action here and we don't close below it on the 4 hour, stay in the trade. If you're in the trade, you cannot possibly take an entry. It's way too high. You have to wait for it to cool down, wait for some consolidation. You'll get, the market's always there. You'll get some consolidation. But yeah, the first 4-hour close below this, then what we're going to do is we're going to take and that bounce up into this trend line and close out your position. Or take profit, or however you're doing it, right? Close out, take profit, however, MATIC is such a big name that I'm not going to be watching this super close, and if it breaks down and I miss it and I don't take profit, I'm not going to sweat at all. I'm just going to let it keep doing its thing through the end of the cycle. I will probably, once I clearly see it break down and come in here to resistance, I'll take profits and rotate a little bit into Bitcoin and then look for the next opportunity. Maybe this confirms the support, this level I've got right here. I don't know where that came from, honestly. No clue. Oh, that top touch right there. Yeah, so if that confirms as support, then maybe re-add on a bounce of that, something like that. MATIC's looking great. You can't take this is no trade territory. I would never open a trade after a big move like this. But if you're in the trade, you can keep writing it because it's still chugging along. I mean, it might go all the way to 100% before it cools off and breaks down that. One is pumping, cool, good for one. There's just so many. I got a $2,500 CRC. I don't know what CRC is, but 2,500 sounds nice. If that was 2,500 Bitcoins, I'd be really happy. But thank you for the tip, Ray Cab. Appreciate it. I'm going to look up what currency CRC is later. Brandon, do you have any videos on how to trade pairs like PAX, BTC? I'm confused since everything I buy the pair means I'm selling BTC. Hey, Mickey. So, in all honesty, I don't trade PAX, BTC or anything like that on Kraken. If after the Bitcoin bull market is over, I might buy some PAX gold just to park my money. If I look at it's a long way of saying, and it's not a good trade right now. I mean, just XAU is just going to be losing versus Bitcoin. I don't know. Well, I don't know why you'd want to be in that trade other than maybe shorting it. If you're wanting to short it, that's maybe a little bit different. But basically, when I look at my XAU chart here, my gold chart, I'm going to be looking for the same things we look for every other trade, right? If I find some kind of breakout level, whatever, right? If gold is a good trade versus the US dollar, then I will probably park some of my profits in gold and just ride the gold trade. And if gold is trending down and it doesn't look like a good trade, then I'm gonna stay in fiat until gold looks like a good trade. So I'm not gonna be trading the pair or anything like that. I'm just gonna be moving some of my funds into PAX Gold for myself. It's not a pair that I trade, so no, I don't have any videos or anything like that because I don't trade it as a pair. I'm far more focused on the major cryptos, really. Part-time, you're selling Ethereum. Part-time philosoph. What are you selling Ethereum for? If you're selling Ethereum for Bitcoin, good on you. That's probably a good call. I took my 20% in this consolidation up here. Basically, this peak right here, as we came close to this, I took my 20% off of my Ethereum that I said I was going to take, and I put it into Bitcoin. Just because we came into that little bit of resistance. Again, Bitcoin dominance is kind of peaking out. And that, to me, was the opportunity to take a little bit of profit on Ethereum into Bitcoin. And if you took 100%, a bit aggressive. I think Ethereum could very well break out and continue on up, so I don't want to be out of the trade. But I just saw this as a potential place myself. So if that's what you did, then good on you. CRC is Costa Rican. I love Costa Rica. I was there a couple years ago. But I was on Guanacaste, which is, I guess, on the northwest coast near Nicaragua, in that Guanacaste area. There's a little ranch. What was the name of that ranch? I don't know. It was awesome. Anyway, I'm lagging. Sorry about that. Well, guys, it's been a long session. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for the tip, Ray Cab. I was more interested in just to see where you're from and what denomination that was. But there you go. Costa Rican. That's awesome. Yeah. Take on Dogecoin. I don't talk about Dogecoin a lot because I think it's broadly it's bad for the crypto space, and specifically the bigger projects that have put a lot of work and like their life's effort into building up their projects for Dogecoin's a literal joke, right? I think we all know this. I hope you know this. It was started as a joke. It's a Litecoin fork. It was literally started as a joke, and so for the fact that a literal joke is pumping, it's a slap in the face, I think, to a lot of like legitimate crypto projects that are trying to legitimately change the world. That's my take on it. So I don't talk about it a lot. I don't mind. I'm not anti-Doge though. I'm not anti the kids that want to pump it and get into it. They're getting involved in crypto. They're hopefully educating themselves a little bit on crypto through this experience, and if they make some money, good on them. I don't have a problem with people buying Doge. I just don't talk about it because I think more specifically these huge pumps like this, and then the probable dump after this it's just not going to be good for the space. Namely, it's going to give regulators an excuse to come in here and regulate this space more, because between Doge and XRP, you look at these charts. This is not natural price action, so this gives regulators all the ammo they need to come in and start putting a bunch of ridiculous regulation around the space, and it just hurts legitimate projects. So that's why I don't talk about Doge a lot. So sorry about that, but thanks, Ray Cab. Oh, cool. That's good now, thanks. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream. I think we got through a lot today. I hope it was beneficial for all of you. Thank you all for joining. And we will see you next time. Let's go find us some good 80s synthwave mix to exit this on. I don't know if you guys have listened to you guys are regulars, you've probably heard all this before, but take care, good night. Oh, this is not financial advice, banned by the river. You lose all your money.